So, 10, 9, 8, fire in the hole. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Yay! Welcome aboard the GQUAT family reunion bus where good friends become family and family is everything. Why is this going on? Just a minute. I know I turned the volume off on there. Maybe it was too close to the receiver. The boy technology. So, my Renaissance grandma, really my sister. In fact, a lot of you are my sisters. I'm not your old enough to be your auntie, but I love you, and it's just a name. Lascious Journey, I saw you today picking stuff in your garden. Maria Graham, thank you. And welcome back from your vacation. Barb Brownlee, thank you for coming. And welcome. Just came inside from dropping more seeds. Oh, you just want to make me jealous. Um, I talked to Yankee's sister yesterday for hours, and we were talking about the fact that here in Connecticut, zone 6B, it's still like in the low 50s and 40s at night. You can't put your food out. I don't know why my phone is doing this and making this noise and annoying me. So she lives, hi Fifi. I watched you today. No, I didn't. It wasn't today. I get all my days and nights mixed up. Sometimes, you guys, after the live, when I'm going in editing and putting, words in, I look at him like, why did I say that? That's not what I meant. Hello, Cheryl Faulkner. We're graduating, a graduating son. Rochelle, Unbiased LLC, thank you for coming and welcome aboard the GQuat family reunion bus. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. I really do. Some days, like when you get my age, hey Martika, how you doing? When you get my age, some days you just feel like moving slow. You don't feel like doing anything. I see you, Maria. African Dreamin', Jay and April. Hello. I'm so glad you're here because I just had a comment about the quilt in back of me, and I don't know if you remember last week I showed you the back of it. This is the ugly fabric quilt. All these little green things are red and yellow frogs on a green background. And the story behind it is that I was in Arizona and my sister and brother in law and I were antiquing, going to different stores. And there was this fabric, and you can tell really good fabric when you look on the sides of it. On American fabric, you'll see all these little circles, and that tells you how many times it's gone through the color to get the design you get. Well, I looked at this fabric and I knew that it was really, really nice fabric. And my sister said, "Oh, Sissy, that's so creepy, those frogs." But my sister's traumatized. I have to admit, when I was 4 years old, I was the one that used to bring the worms in the house and the caterpillars and the fireflies and bring them in the room that she had to share with me. So she doesn't do creepy stuff if she can help it until her big sister's around. But thank you. So going back to the story of this quilt, I had my sister take me back to the store the next day. I bought all 15 yards of that fabric. And there's a well known quilter. Her name is Bonnie K. Hunter. And she always says she's a scrap quilter. And she says there's no such thing as ugly fabric. You just didn't cut it small enough. So look how small these blocks are. You can't even tell that those are frogs in there. And on top of that, I went to a yard sale and I bought some fat quarters. I don't even like fat quarters. Fat quarters are a quarter of a yard of fabric cut 18 inches by 22, as opposed to being 9 inches across the whole yard. So I found all these ugly fabrics, and I'm like, you know what? Y'all belong together. You have family. I have to find something to make out of you. And I did. And then when my sister saw this quilt, I put like just some plain red in the corners. I think the only pretty fabric in this entire quilt are some of these. And I'm reading the chat. Why don't I highlight it? And so I made an ugly fabric quilt. Is there anybody in this whole chat who would turn this quilt down? If somebody were to give you this exact quilt, and oh, don't know if I can reach it. And well, it's double sided. The you can go back to last week's live, and I even did a short on it to show the back of it. Hello, K Renee's Garden. Hello, Mike's Chaotic Gardening. And thank you, everybody in the chat, for welcoming each other, because I usually can look at the chat on my phone. I'm not doing it today because I was getting an echo for some reason. Okay. Barb Brownlee says it's cold here in 5B6A. The temperatures were 37 degrees and windy. And that's how it is in Connecticut. It is not warm, but where there's a will, there's a way. I have been growing hydroponically, and this is the Tiny Tim. Oops, I see you. Hi, Gina, girlfriend. I have been growing this indoors since WIG 2022 grow off. Look at this in the house, you guys. I wasn't sure if I would. Okay, girls, get back in there. I wasn't sure if I would like them. They're a little different than some of the tomatoes I've tasted. They are a little tart, but you know what? They have that fresh, like you go, hi, Diversity Love. Thank you for coming and welcome aboard. Fifi's laughing at her auntie already. They are beautiful. Another thing, I started like after the WIG grow off, and I started dropping seeds in my newly found hydroponic skills. And look at this. This is, it's not borage. I thought it was borage. It's burdock. It was so big, I had to take it out of the hydroponic solution. And here's my homemade cracky container. I took one of these thingies. Look at all these roots in here, you guys. Let me slide you back in there, because I'm hoping that Memorial Day weekend I can put my crops outside. I have so much stuff growing inside. Mike says he's jealous. Don't be Mike. Auntie's current journey is all because of you. And I'm so touched. I'm so touched. And by the way, you should have gotten some mail from me today, if not by tomorrow. And speaking of gardening, Cheryl Faulkner, Fifi said hi, but you must have missed it. That's okay. I miss a lot of stuff, you guys. And if ever you're in my live and I don't speak to you or in anybody's live, I apologize, because I'm not that person. The way I was raised in it was then a small town in Stamford, Connecticut, you speak to everybody. When you come downstairs, the first thing daddy would say was like, I didn't sleep with you last night. Yeah, you speak when you come downstairs in the morning. Mike says, am I going to get my sister into hydroponic gardening? Hey, G Mama Grows. I'm trying to. That would be good for her because my sister's the one who never got her hands dirty. Her hair was never messed up. You see, mine is wrapped. This is actually one of my little creations. I like dragonflies and butterflies, but Auntie Nana Ellen, she be working. My granddaughter sneaked up on me this week, and my helper didn't come Monday. I had to clean up all by myself all over the place. She's like, Nana, why do you have two beds in your room? She hasn't been here. She doesn't know that I had two beds. One is an antique hospital bed, where you roll the head up, you roll the knees up instead of renting hospital stuff. Hey, Psalm 146. Thank you for coming and welcome. She'll be listening, and Bean Juice, waiting for Bean Juice, my little buddy. So the reason I have it is because when I get old, I mean really old, I'm only almost 75. All they got to do is bring me a nurse in, enroll me up, give me my pablum, and leave me alone. Take the other bed out. But until then, I bought another full size bed. All this in a one bedroom, 800 square foot handicap apartment. But I am what I am, and I'm going to do what I want to do. Okay. So, for those of you who are new or in the bushes, GQUAT, as you see, stands for Garden, Quilt, and Art Traditions. And we are a variety channel. When I say we, most of my stories are not about me. I'm just a speaker because my family won't come on. They won't come on as of yet. They'll come into the chat and say hi, but I'm telling stories about what has happened in my life in the 8 generations that I've been alive, and in the fields of gardening, quilting, cooking from scratch. I want to tell you something. I saw my family Bible back it goes all the way back to the early 1800s. And back then, if you're mixed race or black, you didn't have your birth certificate recorded in the like the town clerk's office. You wrote it in the family Bible. And I'm just remembering I touched this like 200-year-old Bible because I was writing down information. I'm in the process of writing a book about the 500 years of family history on both sides that I can document. And guess what was inside the Bible? Seeds. There were seeds from, I don't know, hundreds of years ago. And they were telling me, my cousins were telling me to be careful. Cousin Norma Thomas, this story you will like. My cousin Norma D. Thomas has a channel called Story Joy with her daughter, and she's documenting part of the family history. Her grandfather and my grandfather were like first cousins, and we've documented all the way back to the 1700s and then 1812. And then, speaking of family history, if you were in the South in Virginia and you were free, you may not have your birth certificate recorded in the courthouse, but you had to have a piece of paper that said that you were free and born free, and document that journey. Well, I have that documentation, and my great grandmother is listed on there, and it says that she was free, she was born free. And I'm like, this was like in the 1835, something like that. And I'm like, well, how did they get from Virginia to Pennsylvania? And did Harriet Tubman bring them? What happened? How did they couldn't just giddy up and get in the wagon? But then that's when I found out they were free. But when I looked at the pictures, I looked, and they were listed as mulatto, and most of them had like blonde hair, brown hair, blue eyes. And then when we have the family reunion, the documentation, we're trying to find out the history, and they'll say, oh, well, half of the family, we can't find the paperwork because they went up the mountain. Well, Pennsylvania, Uniontown is all coal mining. It's all mountains. It's on the borderline of the Ohio. I didn't mean to talk about this today, but it's interesting. And I I looked at it and I'm like, okay, up the mountain meant they passed for white. They were so light that nobody knew what they were. And if I show you pictures of the family reunion just from last year, my family is international. Hi, GT Junior. Thank you for coming and welcome. So I was raised, we were not allowed to say, oh, this black kid, this white kid, this Jewish kid, this whatever ever kid. As a matter of fact, my grandson was in the live a couple of weeks ago, Bakari. His name is an Arabic name and it means noble and proud. That's what it means. My family is international and totally international. Okay, so let's oh, and if you're here on the replay, please leave a message. I love playing the messages back. GT Junior, I got some mail for you, and I'm so excited. I'm glad you're here, you and Mike, because I got a package from you. I will cover up cover up your address. For those of you who don't know, Auntie Ellen won first place in the WIG Winter Grow Off 2022. And I got a package from Mike already. And here's my first place winning from GT Junior Grows in Alaska. Oh, look, I love this pen. I love this pen. It says merge and a nice little keychain that says Alaska. I've never been to Alaska, but you know what? I used to breed dogs and I had several Cane Corsos that I shipped, Cane Corso Italian Masses, and I shipped them to Alaska. So here's, I put 2023. It's not 2020. Oh, look at this little bear. They have bears in Connecticut, and there's so many. Hi, Tori's brain. Thank you for coming and welcome. Yes, thank you, G Mama, for winning WIG 2022. And there's a nice little card that says, Auntie Ellen, congratulations. I really appreciate your efforts and uploads throughout the competition, and it paid off. You are crowned Queen of First Place. May the Queen live forever. No, it doesn't say that. I'm lying. You are the winner and first annual Winter Indoor Grow 2022. Thank you for sharing your indoor journey with the gardening community. Hope to see you for WIG 2023. Much love, GT Junior. That's so sweet. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So let's get to the exciting part, the seeds. Okay. Let Auntie Girl get her handy dandy gifted Mother's Day. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Wait a minute. Did I leave it on, leave the batteries? Nope. Okay, let's say we're technically, well, maybe I can read them anyway. So I have summer squash. And so you guys, I was trying to be so quick, have everything open for you. Seeds. I love seeds. Okay, I'm going to put you over here. I do have my glasses on, so that helps. Watermelon, ultra cool hybrid. I think I dropped one. I'll find it, or my helper will find it. And these are not seeds from Dollar Tree. Cauliflower, purple, purple. Uh-oh, purple cauliflower. Chinese lantern. 30, I think 30 days to the germination, something. I'll read that part later. Pink Beauty Amaranth. Cabbage TT Noir. I guess that must mean some kind of black. I know Noir means black in most languages. Pepper Datil, vicious something. That must mean it's hot. Ground cherries. I've never had any ground cherries. I hope they grow in Connecticut. Squash, scallop, bush. And I think this is what I really wanted. Yes, Paul Robeson tomatoes. I was looking for some of these because I didn't have any. And Yankee Sister, my neighbor, Hermana Amiga, she was able to get some ahead of me. And she started them. And I have three really big plants ready to go outside when it is warm enough. Looking over here for my next things to show you. So, we've talked about the gardening part. Let's talk about some art. Diversity, love. I have time today. I guess I should organize my seeds and fix up the potatoes. The only things I have outside growing right now, I have tons of garlic. I didn't plant it when I was supposed to, October 31st. And I bought this hardneck garlic from a specialty farmer here in Connecticut. You know, I'm always dropping things. I don't know what just fell. And I made the mistake of putting them in the freezer instead of just leaving them in the fridge, and they didn't germinate. So I had all this organic garlic in here that I bought from the farmers market and other places. So I just politely went outside and planted them, and I'm doing like T Nog, the New Orleans gardener. I'm sticking garlic or an onion in every single pot or containers. Hello, Sissy. Joanne Stevens, my little sister. She's at an appointment, but I know she was going to try to come in. So, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about, going back to the quilting and arts and crafts. Some of you have embroidery machines, and I wanted to show you one thing. I've been using a lot of leather. Maria Graham saying hi, Joanne. Yankee Sister saying hola. Yankee Sister Hermana. I was just talking about those beautiful Paul Robeson three plants you gave me about a month ago. They are so huge. They won't even fit under the light under the hydroponic system, but it's too cold for me to take them outside. And I live in an apartment. I have a community garden, so it's not possible for me to go outside and bring everything out and in every day. And G Mama Grows says, thank you for any donations you're willing to help support the channel. I spend so much money on postage. Oh my goodness. I sent the littlest boxes out this week. And you know the little $7 boxes? Guess what? I guess the prices went up in May. The man scanned it and I said, sir, you charged me the wrong price. That's the $7 box. He said, no, ma'am, that's what it's scanned at. He said the prices went up. That little tiny square box is now $10 and like almost $11. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. The flat cardboard envelopes are still $9, But that is ridiculous. I said, well, look at all the weight I have in this envelope and this little bit of stuff in this box. How I said that's a ripoff. But anyway, I digress. You had to replant your garlic too, G Mama Grows. Well, Joanne Stevens is saying hi to everybody in the chat. You know, she promised to come up. I'm going to throw her under the bus. She promised after her birthday that she would consider being my co-host. So when I'm at the machine and doing stuff running all over the place, you guys have somebody to talk to. So going back to this, this is Naugahyde, and you know how I make the journals and I put the pen pockets on? If you don't have leather or you don't like leather or animal stuff, this is a faux leather, and it's thin and easy to sew on your sewing machine. But I want to tell you, when I moved to Connecticut and most of my things, my machines were in storage, one of my friends who has an embroidery machine made some patches with me. And the reason I'm showing you that Naugahyde, or whatever you want to call it, or pleather, the reason I'm showing you that is because she made me some patches on her machine, and with my name on it with Panky, and these were to put on my bags that I make. Diversity Love. Oh, you have a desk now. You can set up your sewing machine. Well, good. Can you sew it up? Can you set it up for Saturday? Because the art quilt that I was making, the self portrait, I'm not going to work on that today because it had all these floating pieces, and we don't have a full hour to work on it because the Weightlifting Geek comes on and several other channels, and I want you to be free to go here. But look at this one. I don't know if you can see. This one is made out of that Naugahyde. That Naugahyde. And then we were talking about Adinkra symbols. She knows my favorite color is purple. She made this one. This is a peace sign. So I can put them on pockets or whatever I'm working on. And this is the Adinkra sign for cooperation. So all of you who have embroidery machines, you can, no matter what size, you can download names and make your own things. The next thing I want to show you, whether you're male or female, everybody needs to know how to sew. If you're prepping and you're out there and something happens to your prepper bag or something, you are going to want to know how to fix it. Then you say, well, Auntie Ellen, I know that you have fabrics, pieces of this, pieces of that. How do you organize them? One of the ways I use them, I used to buy a lot of bolts. Now, not so much. I'm using what I have and buying smaller pieces, but this is called a comic board. It's 8 inches by 10 inches, and it's cardboard. And this is what the cardboard traders use to store their comic books in. They put them in here and put them in a plastic bag and keep them. And this is acid free and will hold it. But what I like about it is that I fold all of my fabrics a certain way, put them around here, and guess what? The same bookcase here, all these fit in like books. And what I used to do was put them in order of color, like red, orange, yellow, green, blue. I never had my African fabrics out, never had my batik fabrics out, because when people used to come to my house or my studio for lessons or whatnot, I didn't want everybody to see my good stuff. Hello, Jones Truth 67. Thank you for coming and welcome. We're just talking about batiks and African fabrics, and hopefully you will be able to get yours out and store them. And by putting them on these boards, you can see what you have, just like the bookcase. You set them up. Okay. So next, you guys saw me working on the self portrait, And I wanted to talk to you about how I keep my patterns, or like the face or whatever, the pieces. I showed it to you on paper and cardboard, but I want to show you what I really actually use. This is a plastic template. You can get them from like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joanne, I think. But the reason I'm showing them to you, and there's a part that peels off the front and the back. But what I wanted to show you, some patterns that you're going to want to use over and over. So, what is this? African Dreamin' is in here. Does anybody know what this is the continent of? I made a art quilt of this, and for each country, I use a different, for each African country, I use African, a different African fabric. Now, how do I get, that's so far up. I don't know where it is to get it off. I'll just leave it and keep going, like exactly Psalm 146. This is a continent of Africa. And you see, just so that I kept it straight, I put a vertical line and a horizontal line. So when I place it on fabric, I can cut it out. This is a template that I will be using over and over and over again. So I didn't want it in just paper. The portrait quilt one, the same thing. So it's plastic. You lay it down on your fabric, you lay it up against your fabric and cut it out. And then you have it forever. You can share it with others. And one of the next few, the project that I'm doing now, the self portrait, was actually part of an international challenge with like 500 or 600 people all over the world: Australia, New Zealand, um, I stopped saying Ellen Pankey, Europe, China, all over the place. And this is what I was supposed to be doing. It was a Mother's Day challenge, but I couldn't get the equipment to work, the email, I couldn't get onto the link or the Zoom. So I just did my own thing. I did me. So I did a picture of Auntie Ellen, and I asked them, well, can I submit it? Or are you guys going to kick me out of the group? And they said they wanted it. This is a small piece. I think Joanne Stevens could do this in glass. And some of the ladies put jewelry on, this hand stitching, the head wraps, all of that. African Dreamin' is liking it. You know me, I was sea walking over there. Like, okay, well, I couldn't get in, but that's how it is in other countries. You don't always have Wi-Fi. You're not always able to do what you want to do. So guess what Auntie Ellen did? She did what she wanted to do. So that being said, I will I will show you guys on Saturday. I will wrap up my project, and I will do it live. I'll have at least an hour. I will stay on it until I finish showing you some things. But that being said, I have been monetized for several months, but I haven't set up a membership because because I didn't really want to charge, but I need to find a way to support the channel and mail things out to people who are getting them and do other things. Like this is a supply list or email things, and having a membership, I will be able to offer classes on Zoom for people who really want to go further and go harder. So everybody, please push the like button, and I will take you over to my studio area, a part of it, this is where the sewing machine is anyway, and so that I can advise you to do what you love and love what you do. Everybody, everybody. I saw some really nice bags today made out of recycled jeans. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to leave this phone over here. Hopefully I won't oh, and by the way, this is the map, a current map of Africa. If you guys want to do this project, what you do is print out a map, put it in grayscale, and I have all of the countries, even the little ones like Lesotho and Burundi and the Ecuador de Guinea and Swaziland. Everything is on here. So my map is really correct, and I'm proud of it. And I'm proud that I collected all those fabrics to put on there. So away we go. I will move slowly so that you don't throw uppy. Some of the channels, when they go fast, and especially when you have monovision, meaning that, like me, when you're looking out of one eye, when they go fast, oh my gosh, my stomach just about flips. Hello, Analytic Gardener, and everybody in the chat. So, what I want to show you today, look at this purple fabric I found. Isn't this good? I'm going to line the self portrait with this purple and gold fabric. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about now is if you're actually quilting something, and what a quilt actually is a 3-layer sandwich. It has a top, it has a bottom, and it has batting in it. So this is a little extension table. I'm going to put this up because I think when I'm sewing, it helps you see better because it's up higher. Yeah, it does. So I want to demonstrate to you how you use decorative stitches or stitching in general for making anything to get the 3 pieces, the top and batting and backing connected. So this is my daughter's Mother's Day present. No, it's not done. I made it out of some scraps of that delicious butterfly fabric. And that was one of the things when I was looking back reviewing my live, I said, "Oh, I didn't want to throw it away. I would never throw this fabric away." What I hate is when I have fabric like this, is cutting it into small pieces, like cutting the butterfly up or the other little pieces. So I try to always use it to make something bigger. The one thing that you want to do when you're quilting, again, it's counterintuitive. You don't go around the edges. What you want to do is connect all 3 of these pieces on the inside, like with a quilt. Hello, Grammy's Journal. Thank you for coming and welcome. You want to connect the pieces so when you wash them years later, it won't roll all up and have all those little balls inside. I remember seeing in quilts in my lifetime where there was cotton. You know how people pick cotton in the fields, and after the cotton was picked, and the owners of the farms sent the cotton to market. And have any of you ever been in the South and seen those big bales? It's not even bales, those truckload things of cotton, like in the movie Cotton Comes to Harlem. I can't even tell you how big these things of cotton are. But when people are no longer picking them, or some that ripens after they've taken their crops in. I've seen people take the cotton with the seeds and put them inside the quilts. My mom told me that she's seen quilts where people put old coats in it or straw. The purpose of a quilt is to keep your children warm, to keep from freezing to death in cold climates, no matter how poor you are. If you're homeless, whatever, the purpose is to keep you warm. And back then they used big stitches. Big stitches. The point was to enclose something and get it over your family. A lot of you remember going to your grandma's house and the quilts were so heavy you had to roll them back, turn over, go to the bathroom, get back under the cover because it was so heavy. So what I wanted to tell you is that when you start quilting and sewing things together, you start on the inside. You start on the inside. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to increase my stitch length. Oh, don't tell me this came off. Oh, I know what's going on. This is one of those little presser foots for those of you who have them, where there's a shaft on the sewing machine, but you can change the feet just by flipping a little lever. So this one is not trying to cooperate. If you'll just bear with me for 1 minute. Okay. Okay, there it goes. If at first you don't succeed, try again. So what I'm going to do is stitch a couple straight lines on here. The back is black, so you'll be able to see what I've done. And this is what will hold the piece together again. And I'm just going to pick a line to sew down and make a little back stitch. And take it off. Please excuse me not being able to talk and sew at the same time. I'm going to clip these extra stitches. And keep going. So, hello, Urban Gardening Chronicles. Thank you for coming. Thank you, everybody who's in here and that I'm not able to see. So, normally I would just keep going on the inside, but just so that I can show you how to do a decorative stitch on here, I'm going to pick a stitch. They're automatic. So 6, we'll see what happens. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I went too fast. So I'm trying to program the automatic stitches. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to take a piece of scrap fabric and see if the stitch that I want to come out comes out. So when you have a machine, or you don't have to, you really don't. Most of my stitching is done with straight stitching. So I'm just going to see. Oh, it is doing it. Oh, this is exciting. So I'm making a little stitch that kind of looks like a leaf. And I will show it to you. Sissy Joanne Stevens, I think this is the stitch that I use on the zigzag table runner that you like on your table. So look at that, you guys. Can you see it? The little leaves. So that is okay. See you, analytic gardener. That's the stitch that I'm going to put going down this table runner. Why? Just because I think it's cute. Just because I think it's cute. So what's going to happen is going to stitch on both sides of this line. I thought it would look nice with the butterfly. Okay, so now, yeah, so you can see my hands. This is why when you guys are in the live, sometimes I just do a straight stitch just so that it goes fast. But I want you to see on here how it looks on the back. And when you guys start sewing, you can do the same thing. And how am I keeping it straight? Because this presser foot has a little gap in the middle, a pointer where I can see where the center is. So you see how pretty this is? No, you don't see it. So I'll keep going till we get to the end. And my daughter, I saw her before Mother's Day. So she saw her Mother's Day gift. And she knows it's coming. But she's working and traveling. So by the time I see her again, it'll be finished. And I can say that you guys helped me. Okay. Thanks for sharing, Marie Graham says. Sure. But I just want to show you that you don't have to have any of those big fancy machines. This one is actually called a Brother Runway Project Runway limited edition because I bought it just for these extra stitches that it has on here for finishing quilts or little things like this. And I have it out right now because I still have to do some quilting and finishing up on that African quilt. That's why this map is up here. It's to remind me that I still have to finish that project. I have several projects going on. I have somebody waiting for a king size quilt and all red fabrics. So I'm working on that in between. And then next week, May 31st, is when I normally start our garden, the Pankey family here in Connecticut, 6B. But it's supposed to warm up for Memorial Day weekend. And I hope it does because this place is a zoo. So I'm going to back stitch a couple of stitches to hold it. And show you this cute little stitch. So I'm using a contrasting thread on this black fabric. Oh, and then you guys, Thursday is a busy time. It's a busy time. Hello, Robin Murphy, and anyone else that I didn't see. But I want to show you on the back of here. Isn't that pretty? Hello, Black Guns and Gardens. I'm enjoying being in your gardens with you. even though you didn't know I was there until you read the comments. Okay, so now I'm going to do another stitch. So those of you who are making table runners, who are making other things, that's all you have to do, and it'll make it pretty. I'm putting a couple of stitches in between. I could have made them pretty, but it's so much faster when I do a straight line. I'll do one on the other end to match it, and then I'll put the rest of the stitching, this cute little decorative stitch. Okay, so here we go. And I hope you guys will consider, instead of going to Macy's and Lord and Taylor and everywhere else to buy your gifts, that you will consider making them, because I don't know anybody who doesn't like these gifts. I mean, even the key fobs, the table runners, all the different things that we've been making, the journals, especially with the pen pocket, and the page holder. So you see how easy this is? It looks like I'm doing something real fancy, and I'm not. The machine is doing everything, and my daughter's gonna love it. I've got her Mother's Day card sitting over there, still waiting. So as soon as I finish this little row, I'm going to tell you who else is going live tonight. Motivational Weightlifting Geek goes live, I think, at 5:15. Miss Shirley O.G. Gardner goes live at 7. Odom and the Honey Slanger go live at, I don't know what time. I'm usually asleep by then. I wake up every morning at 3 o'clock, like I did when I was on the country, down the country, on the homestead. And that's when I have my peak energy. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but like right about this time of night, I am out of gas. So I thought this little stitch would look nice with the decorations on this gold fabric. You know, you guys, you have time to make Father's Day gifts. So merrily we roll along. Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, men have clean. You're so like the lady with the mystic smile. Is it only? Does anybody like Nat King Cole, that old music? The monkey took the buzzard for a ride in the air. The monkey grabbed his neck and said, "Now listen, Jack. Straighten up and fly right." My Uncle Jake used to have the deepest baritone voice, and he sang in a quartet, but he could sing him some Nat King Cole. And when he was older, before he passed, and we would sing that song, "The monkey took the buzzard for a ride in the air. The monkey grabbed his neck and said, 'Now listen, Jack.' Hi, Hudson." And I would say, "Straighten up." And Uncle Jake had this deep, raspy voice. He said, "Fly right." I loved my uncle. He never put us in trouble. We were so bad, but he never told on us, and he never spanked us. He never did anything. So look how just a decorative stitch can change how your project looks. Does anybody think they could make a table runner? It's easy, and this is like a flip and sew. There's no binding on it. We just, hello Darth X, thank you for coming. the sunflower. What did he tell me? He wants to be like Johnny Appleseed with the sunflowers. How many kinds of sunflowers do you have? I've only ever had like two or three. So this is what we're doing. This is that one little sad line I made, but guess what? It holds it together. I'll put one on the other side, and the rest I'll make that little decorative stitch. Why? Just because it's pretty, like the wings on a butterfly. Maria Graham said, "Yes, I will make one." Yankee Sister says, "Spoil me. Stop hating. Stop hating." Stop hating, Yankee Sister, mi hermana. You're so good. Thank you, Diversity Love. So, everybody, don't forget to head over to the other channels. I know that it's not quite an hour, but unless, if you want me to keep sewing and you watch me how I fill this out, put a one in the chat. And the moderators, I just want to thank you. I appreciate you. And thank you for coming, all of you. Is there anybody who, oh, my Renaissance grandma said she was like to watch me keep sewing. Okay, so then I will go down the middle of here. Since I put that ugly line over here, I'll balance it with a pretty one in the middle, because these table runners, these things that you make as gifts, they last for years. My sister Joanne Stevens has a piece of pot holders, table mats, other things that are like 50 years old or more. So I will start down this. And one of the things when you're sewing, always put your strings, make sure you're putting, see my fingers over here, put your strings in the back. And if you don't have one of these spool holders, like this one's kind of fancy, and these types of spools are made so that the thread rolls off the top. What you do instead, you put a heavy coffee cup or a mug on the floor just in front of your machine, not close enough where it's going to catch the flywheel or any moving part, and your thread will go just as easily. Just as easily. Okay, so I'm going to move my hand so that you guys can see. This is not the extension table that goes to the sewing machine, but if it fits, it ain't broke. Don't fix it. This works, and it does what I want it to do. I like it because it puts my work up high where you guys can see my fingers better and what I'm working on better. So I had it for a different machine. I'm just going to use it in this one. And backspace a little. So if you guys were making a quilt, for example, you could do the same thing. You just go around the edges, and if you have a machine that does any kind of stitch, even a zigzag, I'll show you how this looks. Because the back, you can use it on either side. Hi, Erica Taylor. Thank you for coming and welcome. So I will get ready to let you guys go to, I think, Motivational Weightlifting Geek is next. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to give the thumbs up. You have to get material. You don't have any. Wah, wah, wah. Yankee sister. Yankee sister. You just cry, be a river. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the instruction for another project we were doing. We were doing the key fobs. I guess you say, what is she? Nuts or whatever. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you like the content. Mother, if you're here, thank you for watching. I love you. And the rest of you, this is an American Sign Language. Love, this is a you. I love you. And thank you for coming. Barb Brownlee, I want to one day when you come and say that your machine is up and that you will be joining me. I don't want to sew alone. Oh, and you know what? I have a machine called a featherweight, some of those little vintage machines. And I told Yankee's sister, we can go to the park. That doesn't take a lot of electricity like some of these modern machines. And I have a Go Power Plus, like Lead Farmer told all of us to get one. I have a Go Power Plus and I have a small solar panel. I can take my machines off grid and do anything. So if you're prepping, you might want to consider getting a Go Power Plus of solar panel, and you can sew anywhere. GG Naturals Homestead, you're not here. I know you'll see the live, but you can sew off grid. No excuses. Thanks everybody. See you. Thank you.